I am Megan, and welcome to Battle Royale with Cheese, the website where you can get all of your TV and film news, reviews and trailers. And a few days ago, Marvel's new TV show came out. It's called Ironheart. This did come out a few days ago, but I apologise that I just got around to watching this. I've been unwell for this week, so it's taken me a while to catch up with things. But Disney Plus dropped the first 3 episodes a few days ago. And this is one that I've actually been really interested in. Ironheart follows Riri Williams, played by Dominic Thorne, as she decides to build her own iron suit and become better than Tony Stark. That is kind of the gist of this show, that is the overall arcing story of this. She wants to make her own iron suit. She thinks she can improve on what Tony Stark did. So to do that, she's like, well, I need to get funding, I need to get money. And to do that, she goes and joins a gang who at first she thinks are doing good, but turns out maybe they're not. That's kind of the gist of it, really. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. Is it anything amazing? No, but I'm actually having fun with it. I think it is a fun one. It's very small in terms of the stakes compared to what we're used to with, the upcoming Fantastic Four film is coming out, Endgame, that kind of thing. There's no big alien in the sky, world-ending kind of scenario with this one, which I quite like. I think it's good the Marvel occasionally comes out with these kind of shows where it's a lot smaller. Everything's, for the most part, a bit more grounded, but it's also interesting to see someone and a character who has seen what Tony Stark has done and gone, okay, I can do that kind of thing as well. We've seen this before with Iron Man 2, where other companies have tried to do the same thing. That has been a plot before, but this is a woman who is actually successful with it. In terms of the source material, I am actually going into this show completely blind. I know that Ironheart was introduced in Wakanda Forever. I'll be honest, I don't remember her appearing in it, to be honest. So I can't remember if she just had a small part in it. And I know of the comics, but I actually never read them. I've always wanted to, but comics are expensive. So I am coming into this completely blind. But also because of that, and because I'll go more into this in a minute, but it seems that not many people are watching this, I am just going to kind of say all of my thoughts, whether they spoil things or not. So I apologise if I do say some spoilers, but I'm kind of just going to say my whole thoughts on the first 3 episodes at the moment. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I think Dominic Thorne as Riri, I really like her. She's a college student who, at the beginning of the show, she's expelled for plagiarism. You then find out that through her grant money, she's already been making an iron suit of her own, which completely falls apart pretty much straight away. She's attached her AI within the suit to the school board, but because she then gets expelled, it completely falls apart, shuts down, nothing works. So she has to make a new AI, upgrade the suit. And the first episode ends with the AI being modelled after her dead best friend, Natalie, played by Lyric Ross. And for pretty much from the start of episode 1, you are told that her best friend and her dad were shot in a drive-by, they were killed. And I also kind of like that it's, again, small. They weren't killed by, a Marvel villain or anything like that. It was just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And that was kind of it. So I like, even with that, they're keeping things sort of more smaller, more sort of, again, to an extent, grounded within that reality. So I do like that as well. But I like Riri because I think I like her emotional side. This is definitely more to do with her trying to come to terms with her best friend being gone, but then the AI completely replicating her and coming back that way. And this is more to do with her coming to terms with that rather than, a big plot about her saving someone or saving something. Which I know this show seems to be very divided more towards negative than positive, and I think that might be one of the reasons why it is more to do with her emotional side than anything else. I quite like that, and I like the friendship between the AI and between Riri. I think you can tell, even though the AI pretty much from the start goes, well, hang on a minute, you know, you've built me from all these memories. Unintentionally, at the end of episode 1, Riri plugs herself into her laptop and connects the robot to the laptop and then plugs into her brain and does a brain scan. And when she wakes up, the AI and the computer has taken all of her past memories because that's all she's thinking about. But I like you can tell that they had a strong friendship just from the way that they connect with each other. I like the on-screen chemistry between Dominique and Lyric. I think it is fantastic. I think it's the best part of this show so far. I'm really, really enjoying their friendship. Whether Riri wants that to continue or not, she is someone who is still grieving or, you know, ignoring the grieving, as it were. She seems very sort of conflicted and struggling emotionally. Like, she doesn't seem to know how to deal with that and how to deal with grieving. So whether she likes it or not, it's come back. And yeah, this is one of the, like, I guess one of the big spoilers at first. I didn't know whether to bring it up, but it does continue on in the next few episodes, so I kind of have to bring it up. And I think Lyric Ross is also great as well. I really, really like her character too. And again, their back and forth friendship I really like as well. Even though it is established that, you know, Natalie, the AI, is basing conversations on past memories that she's looked up herself from Riri's computer. There is a really interesting moral dilemma and conflict that carries on throughout the 3 episodes, where Riri is like, okay, yeah, you look like my best friend, you sound like her, but you're not. Like, you're basing conversations that we're having off of memories that you are looking up. They are not your own ones, even though you look like her. So I think the moral conflict is really interesting as well. There's a moral conflict also with when she does join this gang. This is really interesting because you can tell that they are the villains in this story. They're trying to paint all these different heists as, oh, it's a good thing because we're going against the billionaires. But at the same time, it definitely in episode 3, where it's like, oh, one of them kills someone. And it happens at the end of episode 2 as well. It's just like, yeah. There's a moral conflict there with Riri where she's like, I need to get money to improve my suit. But I'm also aware that I'm becoming that criminal. And at first she denies it for a while. But then Natalie is literally the AI, so she's a lot smarter, and she said, no, like, you are not doing good things. But I think also this is a pattern that she has clearly followed for a while. Like I said at the beginning of episode 1, she gets expelled for plagiarism, for doing dangerous experiments, and at one point does injure a professor. And she doesn't really show too much remorse for that. So it's kind of clear that it was like, yeah, I can see how you're joining this. It's sort of very easy for her to slip into this, but she's doing it for good reasons for her. She is wanting to, like I said, upgrade her suit, and that's kind of it. And then she'll be happy. But it's very clear that she also knows there's something in the back of her head, even before the AI says, like, you know, you're not doing a good thing. Even she's just like, not sure about this. I think there's a moment when she first meets the gang and says, like, you know, as long as no one kills anyone. Like, I don't want to kill people, I don't want to hurt people. So there is something good there, and you can kind of see that. I also like Riri's on-screen chemistry with Joe. So Joe is like her right-hand man, her guy in the chair kind of thing. And I really, really like their chemistry together. I think they have really good dialogue together. They work really well. But it is revealed, and yeah, sorry if this is probably a spoiler, but I'm just going to say it anyway. It is revealed in episode 3 that he is the son of Obadiah Stan from... It was Jeff Bridges' character in the first Iron Man film. Which I like how they brought that back. I think that was interesting, but it makes sense throughout here. When you first meet him, he's very secretive, you know, he doesn't want to talk about what he actually does. And it's revealed that he basically doesn't want to become what his dad was. And really resents his dad, which, I mean, fair. We all saw Iron Man 1. I would understand that, to be honest. But there's that conflict for him where it's like, I don't want to become like my dad, but you've just walked into my door with an iron suit, and now I'm becoming like that. And there's a really interesting conversation in episode 3 where Riri says, you know, you will only be him if you let yourself be him. Which I think... Yeah, he needs to be told that. But I think he's just, I don't know, he's kind of charming in a weird, he's like that awkward, you know, geeky kind of character. But I think there's a charm there, especially when he starts to interact with Riri. On a technical side, I also like how the title is introduced with each episode. It's not an outright title card, but it like blends into the foreground and the environment. So one episode... Ironheart is revealed on a street sign. There's another one where it's spelled out in like concrete when she crash lands in the first episode. And I think that's really interesting. That's really cool. It doesn't like stick out or anything. It just sort of is there. And it's clearly going to be different with each episode. I think the score I really like. The songs, like there are some R&B and like drummer-based songs in here. They don't always work for me. But I think the musical like score, the orchestral score, I think actually works. And I really, really like it. But I don't think all of the songs itself always work. They don't always seem to work with the visuals and the action that's going on. The fight choreography, there isn't a lot of fighting in this so far. There's a fight scene in episode 2. There's a very short one. And there's a fight sequence in episode 3. I think the one in episode 3 is a lot better. It goes on for a lot longer. You can actually follow what's going on. In episode 2, I found it very difficult to follow what was happening. There was a heist happening at the same time. That was also difficult to follow in terms of its camera work and how quickly everything was going. But I think episode 3 kind of nailed it a lot better. It was a lot more interesting to look at. So yeah, overall, I've enjoyed this. It's not anything super spectacular, but I still think it's a fun show. And then I looked at the reviews. Oh god! People are not liking this at all. So I want to talk about that as well, because, you know, opinions... or whatever, they're not fact, they're opinions. Even, you know, my review, don't take it as fact. But I think it's interesting the complete disconnects that I've had with other reviews and other people's thoughts on the show. Like, IMDb has it at the moment as a 3.7 out of 10. It's got a worse scoring than Secret Invasion. A lot of the criticisms are saying that it's quite boring, which I... kind of get to an extent, but I think that's down to preference and what you want from this particular show. So I'm kind of okay with it being more on the emotional side of things rather than the superhero action fight sequence stuff. But it depends on what you want from what you were looking for from this show. I think my biggest problem with this show at the moment, and this kind of encompasses a lot of problems I kind of have with this show, but also with Disney plus like Marvel shows in general. Well, and Doctor Who when Disney were overseeing that. I don't think they're overseeing that anymore, thank God. But this happened with the last 2 seasons of Doctor Who as well as this show. We're already halfway through Ironheart. Like, seriously, we are already halfway through it. There's 3 episodes left, and then that is it. And I think Disney don't seem to have faith in any shows that are longer than, like, 6 or 7 episodes. The show is way too short, which means that they have to get through everything quite quickly. Episode 1 is a big demonstration of that. A lot of things are rushed. you know, they have to introduce Riri, they have to introduce her suit, they have to introduce that it's broken and needs the upgrade, then they have to introduce the gang, then they have to introduce this and that, and all in one episode. I think episode 2, the pacing starts to get a bit better, especially in episode 3 as well. But yeah, it kind of just feels like they have to do a lot in a short space of time, which they do, but I don't think that's to its advantage. This also means that a lot of characters don't get a lot of character development. Like, yes, we have, you know, Natalie and Riri having a lot of time together, which I really like, but it does mean a lot of the other characters are kind of pushed to the side a bit. I think John and Parker from the Hood Gang, they get a bit more time as well, and a little more time to develop their characters and develop their dilemmas. But that's kind of it. Like, everyone else is very, like, one-dimensional. I have a bit of a problem with that, with the character developments in this for all of the characters, aside from the leads. But also, I think it's in episode 2, where Natalie, the AI, is trying to get back into the suit because Riri has refused to acknowledge that she's there, doesn't want her connected to the suit at all, so she tries to get back in and accidentally connects to Riri's mum's projector in the living room when she's doing an art project. And the mum just kind of seems to be okay with it. I think that if this was any other show and the same thing happened, I think it would go over like a lot more episodes, maybe like 1 or 2 and something like that, to let that sort of sink in a bit. But that whole section and that sequence seemed really rushed. Like, the mum just seemed to be like, oh, okay, you're here now. Like, okay, let's forget that you're modelled after my daughter's, like, best friend, who she still hasn't really grieved over in the 5 years since her death, or really acknowledged it. Like, let's just ignore that. Okay, I'm okay with this now. Like, it just seems a bit weird, but that is because I think this is only going to be 6 episodes. They have to get through things quite quickly and have to get to the point quite quickly. And I think that is to its disadvantage. I almost kind of hope this gets season 2. And I don't think Disney will learn, but hopefully they learn to, like, extend their show out a bit. It's okay to do more than 6 to 8 episodes on a show. Like, as someone who's been rewatching, again, I am going to name drop Doctor Who because it is the most recent thing I've been rewatching. But that used to be about 12 to 13 episodes, but you get a lot more character development. The writing is a lot better and a lot more relaxed. Because of that, because they have more time. This is kind of also a thing I've been seeing with a lot of other shows where they are a lot shorter, but it means that you have to get through things quite quickly and rush through things quite quickly, and nothing really sticks. So while I'm enjoying this show, I think it does need another season or a longer season. It needs more episodes, basically, to flesh things out a bit better. And then you can do more stuff with the story, with the other characters that aren't the leads, and make them feel a bit more important. But saying that, with what we've got at the moment, I am really enjoying Ironheart. Yeah, again, it's nothing spectacular, but I kind of feel like I need something like this. Yeah, it's not anything world-ending. Well, we'll see. We'll see where the rest of the series goes. But it's nothing world-ending at the moment. You know, there's no huge stakes or anything. The stakes are literally Riri might be in trouble now, and she might. She is now like a target for this gang from where episode 3 left off, and that's kind of it in terms of, I know that's still like a huge thing for her, but in terms of what we've had with Marvel before, that is quite small. It is more grounded and it's more isolated to her sort of hometown and her life. So for me, I'm kind of enjoying that at the moment. I am thinking of doing this as like a weekly thing for the next couple of weeks. I apologise, I'm stuttering and everything, like it's so warm in here. This review might be all over the place as well. It's very warm in this room, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, I'm thinking of making this a weekly thing just for the next couple of weeks because this is only going to be 6 episodes. So it seems like no one else is watching this or that interested in it. So It gives room for me. Everyone else is watching Squid Game. The other thing I want to mention as well is that on the point of my room being really warm, videos might be a bit have a longer gap than usual. Usually I try to do 1 or 2 a week, but that might change until September. So some weeks there might just be 1 video, some weeks there might just be 2 videos, but it's going to be a bit all over the place until September because it is too warm in this room. I don't always want to record in this room because it's too hot, and there isn't any other rooms in the house that I can record in. So yeah, I do apologise, the uploads are going to be a bit all over the place on this channel until September. But I was Megan, this is Battle Royale with Cheese. Apologies for the all over the place review, but see you soon.